Welcome to Jesus Energy. I'm so grateful and excited and humbled that you are here. In Jesus Energy, we move beyond beliefs, beyond actions, and into embodying and emanating the healing, transformative, and loving energy of Jesus. This project is dedicated to anyone who wants to move into a more experiential dimension of Christianity, who wants to feel free to be spiritually curious while also rooted in the love of Jesus. This project is dedicated to anyone who is wondering about their Christianity and is holding on because of Jesus, and for anyone that simply longs to feel alive in their body and create a life that they love. This is for us. In today's episode, we have the host of the Beginner's Guide to Human Design, Madeline Evergreen. She is wise beyond her years, stunning, and an incredible resource when it comes to all things human design. But not only that, just up-leveling your life and living in alignment with the way that you have been uniquely designed. I'm so excited to dive into her work. We will get to hear from her on her journey of utilizing the tools of human design and she'll talk about exactly what it is, to transform her life from the inside out, like truly. And she was in health and wellness years before, long before started human design. And it just unleashed a whole another level of goodness and life in her. And for me, if you want to talk about human design, hit me up. Like I love talking about it. I love diving into the intricacies of it and the way it really taps into how unique each one of us was created. And something for me that really shines about it is, if you know me, you know that I trained in spiritual direction, which I love and was so life-giving for me. And also, in spiritual direction, we talk a lot about discernment and looking for life and looking for ways to align ourselves with life. And for me, human design took that and opened it into a whole new set of levels, if you will, of aligning with life. Because I was like, well, I'm still getting stuck in certain things, um, that I could feel like I could maybe feel life in a lot of different places. And so, specifically, for example, in me, I've really leaned on the tools of human design for trying to figure out how to unravel my passion and my ministry and my writing. And that's something that I've gotten stuck on, something that I've dreamt of doing for a long time, and I didn't really know which way to go. And human design has helped me to figure out how to discern what is right, unique to me, which that process might look different than someone else. And it's much more unique and complex than simply looking for life or what lights me up. But we'll get into that. I hope that this unleashes a whole new way of falling in love with who you were created to be and allows you to unleash more of who that unique essence and soul is in the most expansive way possible, in the most abundant way possible, in the most freeing way possible for you and for all of us on this earth in the here and now. Let's dive in. I know you will love her, and I'm so excited. Let's do it. Yay, I'm so grateful and excited to be here with Madeline Evergreen. She is a complete rock star at helping people feel more alive in their bodies. And one of my favorite ways that she does that is through teaching human design. I tell my friends, my mom, everyone, I'm like, go listen to her podcast. It is so good. The Beginner's Guide to Human Design. If you're new to human design, it's incredible. It's almost like a course and builds on the foundation of human design. And also, if you know your design and you're super into it, she finds a way to also dive deep and deeper into what makes you you and your design. So, can't recommend it enough. So excited to be chatting with you this morning. And yeah, I'm just grateful you're here. I would love to just start out by hearing from your beautiful voice, who you are and what you're up to.
Oh, well, thank you so much for having me. This is my favorite thing to do, like be a guest on someone else's podcast. So this is truly a delight and a treat, and I've been looking forward to it. So thank you for inviting me on. I'm just excited to be here. I have no idea exactly what we're going to be talking about, but I do know that I have a lot to say in life and a lot to share, and I have a lot of experience going through many different challenges and many different iterations of life itself. And I'm looking forward to seeing where this conversation takes us.
Amazing. I would love to just start out by hearing from you how you would describe human design and maybe how you found it.
Sure. Human design is a tool for high performance. That's my favorite description of it. There's so many different ways that people could describe human design, but I like saying that it's a tool for human or for high performance because when you understand your human design chart, it's like reading a user manual specifically written
So
for
cool.
your body, for your energy, for your life. And there's so much advice out there that's supposed to work for everybody, whether it's health advice or religious perspectives or spiritual modalities or personal growth and mindset. And I've always been really interested in pretty much all those things.
Yeah.
And my whole life, ever since I was a child, I've been really into trying to be like the best version of myself. And I've
Hmm.
tried a lot of things, and a lot has not worked for me. And I've struggled very deeply. And it wasn't until I understood human design and started to really see how I operate and what kinds of, advice works for me that
Wow.
my entire body and my entire life flourished and transformed and just changed. And if you've never heard of human design and you're thinking like what is she talking about? I literally
Yeah.
don't know what she's saying. Let me just give kind of a practical example. So, to get your human design chart, you would go to a website. I have one. It's studiotimeout.com/human design, or you can go to whatever other website you know of, and you put in your birth information. So, it would be like your birth time and date and location. That's it. And then it pulls up this chart that won't make any sense to you, but a human design reader can interpret it and explain it to you, or you can learn it in a book or on my podcast or a class, something like that. And so your human design chart is not based off of a quiz or questions that you're answering. It's not going to change depending on your mood. It's truly based off of the date and time and location that you were born. So it's very similar to how you would pull an astrology chart. But human design is actually a modality made up of many different things. It's made up of Western astrology, but also the I Ching and the chakra system and the Kabbalah tree of life. And so it's a,
Cool.
a much broader, wider kind of cast of different modalities blended together. And then what you learn from your human design chart is a lot of information, but things like what are you supposed to be motivated by? How do you
Mm.
actually eat in a way that works for you? Why does your energy go up and down at certain times? And how do you actually have high energy in a way that works for you? What kind of gifts do you have to bring to this
Mm.
world? What does your intuition actually sound like compared to somebody else's? And on and
Wow.
on and on.
Yes.
So it's literally like a user manual for yourself.
That's such a beautiful, beautiful description. And I love hearing that as a child, you were even pulled to be the best version of yourself. That's so cool. And I can so see that in you. And I'm so curious, like, what shifts did you see in your life when you started implementing wisdom from your human design?
Immediately saw let me tell you a little story. But right before I found human design, I was struggling very deeply about like what should I be motivated by in life? I was
Mm.
kind of in this trap of wondering, like, how do I get to the next level of happiness or feeling like really on purpose? Do I need to be motivated by helping people? Should I be motivated by having as much fun and joy as I can? Should I be motivated by making as much money for the business I was working for or for myself? There is kind of those three things. And I
Yeah.
kept thinking I could really, really see myself going like all out with this, like just help people and then I'll be on purpose, or just make a lot of money and I'll be on purpose, or just have as much fun as I can and I'll be on purpose. And I couldn't, I was like trapped in this cycle of trying to figure out, well, what works for me? What should I do? And then I found human design and I literally got that answer. And for me, desire and what I'm attracted to is like all over my chart in many
Wow.
areas. It really, really works for me when I put my attention, my time, and my energy on what I want, what I
Mm.
really desire, what excites me, what is feel good and fun and interesting personally to me. And that's how I become more magnetic. That's how
Hmm.
I raise my energy. That's how I appeal to other people. That's how I just end up in the right place in life. And so I went all in like immediately within a day. I just stopped putting any sort of emphasis or focus on the things in my life that I quote unquote should be doing,
Yep.
the tasks or the projects or the work or the anything that I was doing out of obligation or because it's grueling, but you should. I stopped doing all of that very quickly, like in a day. And I put all of my attention on what do I selfishly want? And these aren't bad things, they're not
Yes.
icky things, but I
Yes.
selfishly wanted certain things in my career, in my personal life, in my body, in all kinds of stuff, and I just put all of my focus there, and it was crazy because the first thing that I saw was everybody else in my life felt better.
Wow.
Immediately, everybody was nicer to me. Everybody was more relaxed. Everybody had more energy. Like my husband, my parents, the people I was around day to day, they were different. And that's how human design actually works is that when you are living in alignment, everyone around you can relax and feel better. And there isn't this tension and this frequency of disruption between humans. And so I immediately right away saw everybody feel better and treat me
Wow.
better and seem more relaxed. And then within about a month, my entire body looked different. I had to buy all new clothing
Wow.
and I didn't really do something like I didn't go
Yeah.
on a diet or I wasn't even thinking about my body. But I had a whole life of extreme health problems before human design, like severe health issues. And I just, my body completely changed in
And
ways
you
that
were
I,
working in, sorry to interrupt,
no,
but you
go
were
ahead.
also working in nutrition and very committed to different health modalities at that time as well, right?
Yeah, for over a
Yeah.
decade. I've been working in fitness actually for 20 years this May. And so I've been in fitness that long and I've been in nutrition for it was about a decade before I found human design. And honestly, I was working in nutrition because I thought that I should, and I thought that eating healthy is what people should do, and so that was what I was putting all of my effort into, and I love
Wow.
nutrition, don't get me
Yes.
wrong, but it is not that exciting to me, it's not that fun to me, it's just it's something, it's there, I like it, but I was in that career because of the shoulds and because it made logical sense, and so I pivoted out of that really quickly when I found human design and other things. I do some other work, manifestation, breath work, different types of things as well. And so, yes, I was doing all the right stuff physically, and I still had extreme health problems. And it wasn't until I pivoted my energy, my focus, and my attention in my life, and I started living in a way that aligns with my design, which for me is it's complicated, but it's all about desires for me.
It's
And it's a
amazing.
lot to do with intuition for me as well, and not getting in the head and not using logic or facts to run my life, but to use my intuition. And so I did that very, very fast. I'm a pretty trusting person and I just did it. And I saw everybody in my life feel better. I saw my body get extremely healthy extremely quickly for truly the first time in my life. I had
Wow.
never felt what it felt like to be healthy before, ever. And I also saw my entire career transform in about I would say like 4 or 5 months, I had a whole new career that really worked and was profitable and was kind of effortless.
Wow.
So it was like, it felt like I found the key to my life. And
Wow.
here I am.
That's so powerful, and that's one of my favorite things that I've learned from you, and I just said it with my kids this morning. What's in alignment for me, what's alignment for the individual is an alignment for everybody,
Hmm.
and that is so freeing and so powerful, and it especially comes in handy around holidays. That's when I first
Yes.
learned it from you. Wow, wow, wow. I just like had goosebumps and like feeling of freedom as you were talking. I mean, it's just so, so beautiful. So something else that I learned from you is how when I started seeing shifts in my life is learning that I am, and I don't want to get too much into the weeds, but like that I am a non-specific and
Hmm.
I'm someone I love to like wake up and do all of the manifestation techniques, my prayer, my meditation. I would like sit in vision board for the whole day,
Hmm.
and something that you taught me that according to my design, I am actually designed to wake up and say, surprise me, universe, know how I want to feel and just focus on tapping into that. And when I do that, I just feel so much less like friction in my life and more freedom. So I don't want to keep blabbing on, but just all that to say, like, how often do you find that your clients or people that you work with are actually doing things that are the opposite of how they're designed. And then when they learn them and shift how they show up in life, there's more ease and joy.
I see it all the time. I see it in everybody that I work with, and I work with a lot of groups and I work with a lot of one-on-one clients, and everybody has that. Also, everybody also has aspects that they're naturally aligned with, like they naturally have picked up on something in their design and they're totally doing it and they didn't even know. So,
Mm,
I've seen both in
yeah,
literally everyone.
cool.
Some people really tend towards living like the opposite of their design in many ways.
Funny.
Some people really lean towards like accidentally already living their whole design in alignment. It kind of depends on how, all kinds of factors. How did you grow up? What were your parents like? What was your, education experience like? And there's this word called conditioning that we use all the time in human design. And conditioning is a concept where, you just go along living your life and you get conditioned. You see examples in the world that teach you things, and then you automatically think that that's right or that's what you should do. Or your teachers say something, or society or culture teaches us something. Your parents demonstrate and teach you a lot. And then we all learn all these things that aren't necessarily evil or bad or mischievous, although some
Yeah,
of them are. But a lot of it is innocent, and
yeah,
it's also not correct for every human, every individual. And so everybody I've seen does have parts of their chart where they say, like, whoa, that's not how I thought I was, or that's not what I prefer. That's not how I've been operating. And often people will even feel a little bit resistant or annoyed by that because they think that's not them, what they're
mm,
seeing in their chart. But
mm-hmm,
then pretty much 100% of the time, if the person goes and they try that way of being, like what you said, you tried being less specific and more non-specific, and you go, "Oh my god, I didn't know I could feel that relaxed. I didn't know I could feel that good. I didn't know I liked that.
yes,
Whoa." And so you get to know yourself at a very deep, intimate level that you didn't know was there when you
mm,
start to unravel the resistance you have in your design. An area that I experienced that myself was around the concept of like perspectives and thoughts and judgments. And in human design, people are either designed to be very kind of opinionated, and you're born with a point of view because you're the person that's supposed to bring that point of view to the world. And so those people can sometimes come across as a little bit more stubborn in their mindset or their perspective, but that's a good thing for them. Or you're born as a person who's meant to be extremely open minded and fluid with your perspective, and you're the one that's supposed to see all the different sides. And for me, I'm the second. I'm supposed to be open minded and see all the sides. And I was not like that at all until I learned this. And when I see my mom's human design chart, she is the one that's supposed to be more opinionated and have a strong perspective and be a little bit more close minded. And I really grew up learning that behavior and kind of getting addicted to debating and arguing a point and having, like, this is my point of view and I'm right. But
Mm.
that sort of behavior on me is stressful on my body and on my
Mm.
energy field and on my soul. And so the more
Wow.
that I was behaving like that, the more I was kind of making myself sick and unhappy, but also kind of grasping at holding on to that old way of being. It kind of was like trying to validate myself. And when I learned, oh, whoops, I'm supposed to be this open minded person, that doesn't sound like me, but let me just try. Immediately, it was like a breath of fresh air, and I didn't know that I could feel that good when I actually am not stubborn with my perspective.
Wow. That reminds me of a story that you told, if you don't mind me bringing it up,
Sure.
of the way that your mom would teach making decisions based on emotion. And then you learned later in life that you were designed to not use emotion to make a decision. Can you just kind of talk to me about that and how that
Yeah.
works and what that's like?
Yeah, I love this story. I haven't thought about this in forever, so thank you for bringing that up. So, in human design, you learn what your own intuitive voice is supposed to sound like. So, everybody can be intuitive, everyone can get in touch with their instincts.
That makes me so
But
happy.
it sounds different in different people's heads. It's like a different type of feeling or voice that comes through, and it can be helpful if you know what yours is supposed to sound like so that you can, listen to that. So, I'm very, very close with my mom. We're really close. And so it's easy for me to do what she does or listen to what she says and just take her advice because she's such a fantastic person. And
Yes.
so she has an intuition in her human design that's very emotional. She's one of the people that's supposed to tune into how she feels emotionally when she's making decisions. So if she's trying to decide, should I, I don't know, start this business, if it brings her a lot of positive emotion, that is a yes for her. That's what her intuition is telling her. If it's making her feel emotionally good, those are her yeses. I don't have that in my chart. And she doesn't know a lot about human design, and she definitely never knew about it when I was growing up. And she somehow figured that out for herself. And she would often guide me to, like, think about how it would feel. And I
Yes.
can remember when I was trying to decide which college to go to, she would say, like, "Well, when you think about going to that one, does it make you feel good?" And I would get paralyzed by those questions, and I would try really hard, and it just, like, couldn't work for, like, it would truly paralyze my brain, and I couldn't make a decision that way, but I thought that's how you should, because that's what she did, and that's what she said, and I just really struggled with that. And then I learned from human design, way later, I'm supposed to choose what excites me, what is the most energizing option, what I want the most, not anything that has to do with, like, feelings inside, and definitely not logic. And so when I think about choices and I think, well, which one is exciting? It's very clear to me. I know. And that is my version of intuition coming through. My mom literally can't do that. Like, she wouldn't even know how to do that if I brought that up to her and tried to coach her through that, because she doesn't have that in her design.
Yes.
And so it's helpful to understand yourself. Like, how does your intuition sound? Follow that voice and don't try to cultivate it in a way that maybe works for someone else.
Mm. And this is one of the things that I love most about human design is how it helps us as individuals learn how to discern, make decisions that are in alignment. In spiritual direction training, which I loved and was so life-giving to me, we talked a lot about discernment and how much that comes up for us as humans.
Mhm.
And one of the ways we talked about was like looking for life and getting to know how life feels in our body intimately. But still, there were like blocks for me. And I am like, I feel like there's more. I feel like that's maybe not enough. I'm still getting stuck all the time and seeing those around me get stuck. And what I love about human design is I felt like it gave me more tools and more specific insights into how I am designed to make decisions and that we aren't designed to make them the exact same way. And I
Yes.
just find that super supportive too, like as a parent in guiding my kids and not shoving things on them when anyways, just so much there. I would love to hear anything from you on making decisions using human design. And I mean, this is like a whole big thing and could go into it for hours, but just kind of like a foundation of the different ways we can make decisions.
Yeah. So if you're familiar with human design, what you would look at in your chart to make decisions would be your authority. That's just the human design kind of phrase for it. But we won't get too into all that jargon on here. But essentially, there's like these different authorities, or we can call them different types of intuitive voices that people will have. So one of them is like what I described about my mom, the emotional authority or emotional intuition, and about 50% of people actually have that one.
Wow. Yeah.
It's very common, and it's also what I've noticed the most probably misunderstood thing about human design ever. Almost every single person I've done a reading for one-on-one that has an emotional authority doesn't understand it, and they're very mixed up. And so I've thought, wow, this is so interesting because it's so common, but it's so misunderstood. So people that have an emotional authority, they are meant to tune into how they feel emotionally in order to use discernment or make decisions. And maybe something on paper or logically looks perfect. Like, yes, I absolutely should buy this house because it's the right price and it's the right location and it's what I said I wanted. But for some reason, I have this like dread in my heart. Like, I feel depressed. And that is actually the intuitive voice of somebody who has what's called an emotional authority. And we won't get into all the details of it, but
Yeah.
there are steps that have to be taken first before someone with an intuitive authority can tune in. They often will have a lot of emotion on the surface that has to be released before they can actually feel how they really feel. And so it's not as simple as what I just said. That's kind of like after they've worked through some of that trapped surface emotion of the day. And then there's whole other type of person, and this is like what I have. This is called the sacral authority. And these are people that use discernment or make decisions based on what excites them, what's the most energizing option. And these are very, very physical people. Usually they will feel excitement in their actual body, like they will truly feel jitters or like butterflies in a good way, or they'll actually get sick, literally
Mm.
become ill if something is a no, or if they're making a lot of no decisions, their body will react badly. I think
Wow.
that's why I had so many health
Wow.
problems.
Yeah.
They'll also express a lot of like facial expressions or body language, like their face will light up and their hands will open and they'll physically lean into things that are a yes. It's almost like their body knows what's a yes and it feels this attraction towards yeses and it feels a repulsion towards nos.
So cool.
And then we have people that have something called a splenic authority. So this is totally different than the other two. These people get these kind of like drops of knowledge in their head. They'll get like an instinct that just drops in that doesn't feel emotional. It doesn't feel like it's about their preferences or their excitement, but they will just have a knowing. They will just know, I need to marry this man that I just met. I just know. Or I need to turn left today, even though I'm supposed to turn right. I should not eat that apple. I don't know why. They'll just get a piece of information loud and clear. And then when they trust that, that is kind of their navigation system. It's a little bit
So
of like
cool.
a tricky one because it's usually like a piece of information that drops in their head like once
Yeah.
loudly.
Yeah.
And if you're not listening, you missed it.
Wow.
So those people, the splenic authority people, really need to practice a lot of presence, trust,
Cool.
and listening.
Wow.
Mhm.
That's so beautiful.
Yeah. And then we've got a whole other set of people that have kind of like this heart authority, or if you know human design, it's called the ego authority. And these people really are rare. There's not very many of them. I think I've only done a reading for like two people like this. And they make decisions based off of like what really motivates them, what their heart wants so deeply. It's like this longing towards their mission or their purpose.
Mm.
And, the ones that I've spoken to who have this completely know what that feels like. And I can't quite wrap my mind around it. And everybody else I've spoken to who doesn't have this, I've seen nobody's been able to quite describe it like the people who have it. But it's like they have this heart's desire that they can feel and they know to follow.
So cool.
Then we've got people that are much more vocal, and these people have something called sounding board intuition, where they actually have to hear themselves talk through something. They
Mm.
need to bounce ideas off of someone or off the wall or off their journal or off their cat. Like they have to actually talk and hear the answer come out of their mouth. And usually they know the right thing to do. They know what to decide, but they don't know until they hear themselves speaking. And they will talk with these different vocal kind of inflections where if something is a no, they'll kind of end up being like, well, yeah, I mean, it sounds like a good decision, but like that's what their voice will sound like. And then if something is a yes, they'll start to be like, yeah, and it has this and it has that and oh my god, and their voice will literally show them a yes or a no, but it has to be out of their own mouth. And then we've got people that have something called mental authority, which is also very rare, but it's how the world teaches us to make decisions. This is
Hmm.
only about 2% of people, but
Really?
yeah, but about like 100% of people learn that they're supposed to make decisions this way and they're not. So these mental authority people make logical decisions based on what they think makes sense. But the trick is it has to be what they think makes sense, not what their
Wow.
school said or
Yep.
what the world says or their mom, but what logically makes sense to them. And often it doesn't make any sense to everybody else, but to them, it feels super clear. It feels like they could make a pro con list and it would be very logically obvious to that individual. It's not emotional. It's not about what they prefer. It doesn't feel like mystical, like you just got a message. It feels very logical to these people.
Wow.
And then we have people, these are called reflectors. These are the rarest of all the people who don't quite have one of these voices, but what they have is an ability to tune into their intuition over time. When they're
Mm.
really, really slow and they give themselves a few days or even a full month to make a big decision,
Yeah.
and they think about or they tune into that decision in different spaces, around different people, on different days, in different
Wow.
environments, they
Yes.
kind of pick up on all this collective wisdom and they will feel a moment where they have clarity. It will
Yeah.
drop in when they've absorbed their thoughts around it over time.
What does that clarity, so it drops in for them
It does.
after a while?
Yeah, I
Yeah.
like to think of it almost like taking a tally. I've never seen someone with this actually take a tally, but maybe they
Huh?
could, where maybe they're trying to decide like if they should I don't know, move to this other country. And they're
Yeah.
really weighing this huge decision. So they take a few weeks and they think about it and they tune in, different ways, maybe in their thoughts, maybe in their heart, maybe their emotions. Like they can tune in all the different ways. And on Monday, it might feel like, oh, it's a yes. And then on Monday night, at the grocery store, they might all of a sudden kind of feel different about it and think, well, I don't know. Right now it's a no because of blah, blah, blah. Like it feels bad in my body. Then on
Yeah.
Wednesday, it might feel like a yes in a different way. And they really, really, these are reflectors. This is a
Yeah.
specific type of
Yeah.
people. They really pick up on the energies around them more than anyone. So when they are around different settings and around different people, they're going to gather like collective knowledge from the whole frequency of the planet. So this is
Wow,
like
cool.
beyond just their own
Yum.
thoughts.
Yum.
And so over time, like days, they will keep picking up on energetic information and they'll sort of feel yeses and nos and yeses and nos. And it kind of gets like refined down into what will be the most concrete answer or the most common answer. Like maybe it's a yes most of the time for them. And then they feel clarity. They feel I'm dropping in, like I can feel now this is a yes.
I love that so much, and I have, like, a specific friend in mind that I'm so curious if that would be very freeing for her. I just feel like we're so quick to shame ourselves when we don't make decisions in the way that is common for most, and as you are describing these different ways, I feel like I can just see the potential for the world to like tap into these freeing ways of living and making choices that are personally in alignment. And it's just so exciting.
It is exciting, and imagine what it would be like, not just for you, all the listeners, to embody your own way of making decisions, but if we can all accept each other's ways.
Yes, yes,
And if
yes.
we can all understand that some people do really well making spontaneous decisions and other people do really well taking a long time and working through their stuff.
Yes,
And what you said earlier, what's in alignment for me is in alignment for everybody. So if your friend is taking too long to decide, that is actually in alignment for you, even if it makes you
yes,
uncomfortable.
yes.
And I teach my students that you need to train the world around you to accommodate your needs for whatever your needs are. So if you need to take
Oh,
a long time, you need to do that and you need to advocate for that and not
yes,
just say, well, I can't because they want me to decide. Well, actually, almost all the time, you can do what you need to do, unless maybe there is literally a physical emergency, like you have to decide right now if you're gonna run from the bear or if you're gonna let the bear take you. Like, that would be a time when a snap decision is required.
yep,
But there are very, very rare moments like that for real. And a
yeah,
lot of people are walking around thinking that's what the world is like, and it's not.
yes, yes. That's just so freeing.
Mhm.
And okay, I would love to hear from you on manifestation and just like any misconceptions that you find are common around manifestation and all also how human design can help us manifest or just create a life that we long for and feel good having.
This is my favorite topic. I'm so glad you asked. So, a huge misconception about manifestation is that manifestation is something that you spend time on, that you do. Like, I'm going to do my manifesting now for the next 10 minutes. And that's like saying, I'm going to do gravity today. It doesn't where it's always manifestation is happening 24 hours a day, whether you know it or not, whether you like it or not, whether
Mm,
you are aware or not, doesn't matter. You are manifesting. And everybody right now, open up your eyes and look around you. Look at your body, look at the stuff you have, look at your bank statement, look at your relationships, look at the things that you own. You manifested 100% of everything in your reality. And if you have yucky stuff, I am definitely not shaming you. I'm not telling you you did a bad thing. We all have yucky stuff. We've all attracted good, bad, and ugly things. It isn't someone's fault, but it is something that you attracted. You literally attract every single thing in your reality. And so we can continue to manifest on autopilot and just get what we get by default based off of our past patterns and how we are operating subconsciously. And we just can be handed what is handed to us. Or we can shift our magnetism, we can shift our frequencies, we can shift the energy that our body is expressing so that what we're attracting matches that frequency. And that is
wow.
what I teach my students. I have an entire membership where students learn how to set up their own frequency so that they're manifesting 24/7 on autopilot what they actually desire and not just you get what you get.
Yep.
And so I don't really think it's necessary to spend time manifesting unless it brings you a ton of joy. Like vision boards, for example. Make a vision board if you love doing that and if it's fun and inspiring and it feels good. Nothing wrong with that. But don't pretend that that is how you manifest. Making a vision board or even saying an affirmation or visualizing your dreams, that is not how you manifest. That is like an excellent reminder to yourself of what you desire so that you can maybe keep focusing on it. And that's
Yes.
beautiful if you like that. But manifestation happens because of the frequency that you're putting out there. And remember how I shared that on pretty much the first day I learned about my design. I
Yes.
shifted my focus from
Yes.
doing what I should do to survive and instead do what I desire because that is what is in
Wow.
alignment for my design. And when I
Yep.
did that, how come everybody around me changed?
Mm.
How come my health suddenly fixed? It's because when you are embodying your authentic, true nature, which your
Yes.
human design teaches you, or you can figure it out by life experience. You don't have to figure it out with human design. But when you embody authenticity and you truly become the most you version of yourself,
Yes.
you create this frequency that magnetizes the highest timeline, the best things towards you, the best people towards you, the best health, everything that you really deserve. The things that are better than what you can even imagine come to you because it matches who you really are.
I
But
love
let's
that.
say you're putting out a frequency of like desperation and you have a huge scarcity mindset and you're living in
Yes.
fear.
Yes.
What you attract is desperation and scarcity and fear. So
Yes.
you bring in more scarcity because that's what you're putting out. It's very simple to understand when you think of that way. What
Yeah.
you put out is what you get back.
Yeah.
Well, how do you know what you should put out? You learn your human design or trial and
Mm.
error, life experience. You can learn these things yourself. It just might take decades.
Yes. And as you say it that way too, it's like when we I don't even know how to word this, but when we experience something come back, like if I experience desperation or fear come back at me, when I notice that, it doesn't even feel like a bad thing. It feels more like compassion, or it feels more like an invitation for me to align
Yes,
with a frequency that I long for.
a
Like
hundred
it doesn't feel like
percent.
punishment.
Correct. And that's you taking hold of your perspective on things because everybody can look at everything in whatever way you want to look at it. And one person might look at a bad day as punishment. Oh, I'm doomed, or I'm a victim, or God is testing me. That's a
Yeah.
big one that I hear a
Yeah.
lot.
Yep.
Or what if a different person had the same bad day and they look at it and they say, "Wow, thank you, God, for showing me what I don't want any more of. Let me call in more peace, more calm,
Mm.
or less stress.
Yes.
Thank you for showing me that that's not for me."
Yes.
There's so many different ways to look at things, and the way you look at it, the way that you appreciate or don't appreciate things really does tell God or the universe what to send you next.
I think that's so exciting. What is one thing that you have like asked God to send you next or manifested in this last year that has just brought you so much excitement? And how did you do it?
Oh my goodness. I have it's hard to choose one.
Yeah.
So for me, travel has been a new, really exciting venture in my life. My husband and I went to Europe for a total of 5 weeks last year.
Was it 5 weeks?
Yeah,
Wow.
two
Cool.
different trips. And I had never been to Europe. I'd barely left the country before that. Um, and we had really applied concepts of manifestation and human design to those trips, to the whole planning process, kind of as an experiment to see like how can we travel this way without getting in the head and doing the shoulds and doing what works for other people, but how could we actually travel in a way that makes us more magnetic and
Mm.
continues to amplify the abundance, and how can we travel in a way where we end up in the right place at the right time because we're following our intuition and not just following what travel vloggers say you should do.
Yeah.
And so those 2 trips felt like huge manifestations for me. The first one that we went on was 2 weeks in Paris, and it's really interesting because that is not a trip I would have chosen. It's not that I don't wanna go to Paris or I wasn't interested, but I was kind of in this mindset that, like, you should see as much as you possibly can, and you should go all over and fly around or do a road trip, or definitely I'm gonna have to go to the beach. Like, these thoughts that felt very high pressure would come
Mhm.
in my head.
Yes.
And for me, I'm also like you, where being much more vague and less specific really works for my design. And so I continued to let go of the specifics and say these kind of prayers to God or to the universe. And I would say, like, just show me what the best vacation is going to be for my
Mm.
husband and I. Like, make it very, very clear and obvious what's going to bring us the most connection, the most joy, and the most abundance, what's going to be most aligned. And we kept trying to make this trip to Italy happen. And it was very controlled. And it kept having all these roadblocks and all these issues. And then we were finally like about ready to click book, and the flights like tripled in price or something like that moment. And it was like, okay, this is a no. Like this feels so bad in our
Yes.
bodies and
Yeah.
this is so stressful. And so I said to my husband, and I remember this so vividly. I was like, "Chris, just look up wherever we can fly into for basically free with our points. Just tell me like in 10 minutes where." And so he spent a few minutes looking and he's like, "Well, we could pretty much fly to Paris and back for free." And we hadn't really considered that because of a lot of logical reasons. And I was like, all right, that's what we're doing. Are you cool with that? 2 weeks in Paris? Don't know what we're going to fit in there, but 2 weeks in and out? Sure. Okay. And we ended up spending the full 2 weeks in Paris, which
Cool.
everybody was like, why would you do that? Like, you could go for like 3 days and then see all of France or fly somewhere else. And we're like, I don't know. It just keeps working. We just kept following what we were attracted to step by step
Mhm.
along the way, what felt the most easy and what was presenting itself to us. And then what's amazing is that what came out of that trip was obviously like an amazing trip that was, I wouldn't change a thing. It was absolutely perfect. And I never could have pre planned that. And what's really interesting is that I made more money in that month while I was on vacation than I ever have ever before. And I was not working. And I came home to like a packed schedule of appointments. And again, I was not working during that trip. And that is how manifestation works for a lot of people, is that when you make decisions in life, you get rewarded from staying in alignment, and it's not logical. I wasn't booking appointments because somebody liked that I was in Paris. Like, it wasn't linear, it wasn't related. It was
Yeah.
my frequency. I
Yes.
became very aligned. I had
Yes.
followed my intuition, my
Yes.
design to get where I was, and I kept doing it while I was in Paris, and then the money just flew at me, and the desires and the just a lot more to it than just that. But
Yes.
that's one of my favorite, like, big things that I
Yes.
manifested.
I love that, and I can, like, see the visual of your frequency just lighting up and how that comes back to you, that life comes back to you. I love that, and I know I wanna be respectful of your time, but I am curious if you have any thoughts on, like, you talk about ease and things coming to you, and so what is the difference between living life with ease and also moving through challenges that are difficult and are meant to build us up? And or do you not see, like, how do you see life in that way, if that makes sense?
Yeah, I see it different for everybody. I
Hmm.
see that some people have a design, like a human design, where it's actually very comfortable and relaxing and correct and aligned for them to do what is, quote unquote, the right thing, like what they think is the smart choice, what they think is the safe choice or the logical choice, or what would be most beneficial for all. That's like a very different kind of person than my design. And there are a lot of people out there that do very well making their choices in a safe, logical, kind of not forceful way, but they are making it happen. There are actually designs like that, and that feels good to them. It feels relaxing to them. Then there's other people that are very much emotion driven, where things need to feel positive and light and happy. There's other people like me that need to be feeling like I'm doing what I want, not what I should, not what makes sense, but what I want. And so everybody actually should feel relaxed in their decision, and
Hmm.
they should feel comfortable and safe. in
Mm,
whatever they're deciding. That's how you can figure out these things for yourself without having to
yeah.
understand human design because universally, you know things are working for you if you feel safe and relaxed and comfortable
Wow.
and held.
Wow.
But that will look different for different people. For some people, that's very in their head. For
Yeah.
other people, that's completely out of their head and it's very intuitive. And learning something like human design can help sort that out for you if you're all stuck in your head like I used to be. But
Mhm.
some people, they just know. They just do it. They know what that safety feels like
Yeah.
and they can navigate that way.
I love that. I love that. Again, I'm, like, confronted by just this reminder that we are all uniquely designed and
Yes.
created, but that we are all designed to feel held and safe. That's a
Mhm.
really, really beautiful reminder.
Yeah, and I feel like God talks to you through your design.
Mm,
I know that on this podcast, you talk a lot about God and Jesus, and you talk a lot about different sorts of religious perspectives. And that's not typically the area that I dip into, but it's something I do think about a lot. I'm very interested in. I don't teach much on actual spirituality. And I think about it though all the time and I see it out there. And when I hear people talk about God talking to them, what I see is that you like embody God consciousness through being authentic, through
mm,
living truly who you are. And you can hear messages directly from God into your head, into your heart, into your ears by clearing out the shoulds and by not trying to be what someone told you to be and instead by getting very in touch with how you were designed by God to be.
that's one
So
of the most
sometimes people
beautiful.
think that manifestation is selfish, or maybe a human design like mine that's very desire driven is selfish. But I don't think so because your desires, what you want, literally the word desire literally means of the Father, desire of the Father, of God. So if you desire something, that is God telling you, I'm planting this desire in your heart, in your body, in your mind because you need to go for that because that is your role in the collective. And there's a reason you need to follow your desires. It's not just selfish or frivolous. We're here on planet Earth in the physical reality for this one lifetime to do something with the collective. And if you follow what's truly a desire of yours, you're following like God's assignment for you. Isn't that interesting?
Literally felt like a massage to my brain.
I love
Like,
that.
Madeline, that was, like, one of the most beautiful. I'm just already excited to go back and listen to that, and that is such a gift just to my ears, and I'm just so appreciative for those words. Oh, thank you, thank you, thank you.
You're so welcome.
Before we dive into some rapid fire questions, kind of a random human design thing, but that I absolutely love is eating by your design. I know we could dive into that forever, but why is that important and what does that look like for you?
So in human design, there's something called your digestive type, and everybody has one, and there's 12 different types. And it seems like it's just about like food and diet and nutrition and your digestive system and health. And it is kind of about that, but your digestive type is really telling you how your brain likes to take in information.
Mm,
And so your digestive type applies to all information that your body or your brain is taking in. So, like right now, everybody listening is taking in a lot of talking, they're hearing information, they're learning, their brain is taking this in. But when you eat, your brain is also taking in nutrition information. It's physical information it's turning into your body. When you drink things, when you read, it's any information that you're consuming. And so when you understand your and you eat and live according to that type, you become way, way, way sharper in your brain, way smarter, way more clear, which is very helpful for practical reasons. Like if you want to be smart, It's helpful to use your digestive type, but also if you want to enhance your creativity or your intuition or I don't know, psychic abilities, if that's something you're into, or your connection to source. If you want more brain power, like if you want to turn on more percentage of your brain in any way, using your digestive type helps you with that. And the digestive type isn't a diet. Like there isn't anything that says you should eat gluten free or vegan or low fat. It's nothing like that. The digestive types are much more based on like the circumstances you're eating in. So some people need a lot of natural lighting. Those people are called direct light. And so they should try to learn or eat or have important conversations in direct natural lighting. And that will help their brain to take in way more information. And imagine if you work in a hospital and you're that kind of person and you are under fluorescent lights with no windows, that would be really difficult for that
Yes.
person to thrive in that environment. Or you're doing surgery in those rooms, there's no natural lighting in there. It's not to say that a surgeon could never function that way. It's just that now they understand why they might struggle and why their brain might get so stressed out in the dark lighting.
Hmm.
For me, I have a digestive type where simplicity is the key. And if I eat very, very, very simple foods, or if I learn in settings that feel clean and simple and very low stimulation, I can take in a lot more information and I can relax and I feel a lot sharper.
That's so incredible.
Hmm.
Mine is low sound,
Okay.
and it is something that's helped me let go of shoulds in my life. I don't really feel comfortable eating in a loud restaurant with a lot of action going on. And learning this about myself has felt like permission and an invitation. And not that I need permission, but sometimes it's nice. And I prefer eating quietly, usually by myself. But sometimes, like if I'm going out or with family, like I'll kind of snack a little bit and, not be too black and white about it. But it's been so helpful. And the coolest thing is, I think this is really cool, Madeline. My son, his is what buzzing or something
Hmm.
like that. And
Hmm.
I kid you not, he will sit and tap, 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 tap. He's always done this and it would drive me crazy. I'm like, why is he doing this? He will almost make his own buzzing sound while he's eating. And he has done this naturally for forever.
Yes.
And now like knowing that about him, I'm like, go you. That's
Yeah.
amazing. You're doing that on your own. And I respect that about him. And we like can just drive together in more ease and happiness.
Yeah.
And I just think it's so cool.
Yeah. It's so validating to learn these
Yes, it is
things.
validating.
Yeah, because like you said, you kind of already felt that, like you didn't really like the restaurants, or your son was already doing these things. But then we get in our heads, especially as we age, and we think, oh, my son, he should eat in quiet, or I should just loosen up and be at the restaurant. It's fine. What's wrong with me?
Yes.
Or me, I should eat as much variety as possible and have 45 ingredients in my salad because that's healthiest. No, like, when you learn these things about yourself and you can just take the pressure off and just follow
Yes.
it, it's like, I feel so much better.
So much better. This
Yeah,
has
and you're
been
also
yeah,
right that you don't have to be a stickler about it. You don't have to do it 100%. Nothing in
I
your
learned
human
that from you.
design, yeah, is gonna like, you're not gonna die or be a bad person
Yeah.
or manifest a death if you eat at a restaurant. It's
Right.
just that now you know you might not feel 100%. And that's okay because we don't have to feel 100% of the time.
Yep.
It's just a helpful tool.
Yes, such a helpful tool. Okay, well, this has been an extremely helpful tool and just so lovely. And I just truly think the world of you. You are like just an old, wise soul in your gorgeous self. And I want everybody to listen to your podcast. And you have an incredible membership. So I guess where can we find you? Where can we support you and learn more from you?
The best place to just start learning from me for free is my podcast. It's The Beginner's Guide
So
to
good.
Human Design, and you can find it on Apple Podcasts or Spotify. And start with the beginning with episode 1 if you are new to human design. And then if you just want to connect with me, I'm on Instagram a lot. I share a lot. I love to connect with people over there, and you can find me at healthy underscore Madeline. And then to find my offerings, my human design classes, human design readings, and also breath work and anything else that I'm offering will be on my website at madelineevergreen.com.
Amazing. Thank you so much. Do you have a few minutes to do some rapid fire questions?
Absolutely.
Cool. Okay, so whatever comes is great. When do you notice the presence of God or universe, love from within your physical body?
When I'm moving to music, when I'm
Mm,
dancing, when I'm exercising, and there's music.
yes, I love that. How about, so can I ask you, you mentioned Jesus earlier. Do you have like something that comes up when you like think of Jesus? Is that, and no pressure at all. Just I
I
didn't
have a
ask you about
really
this
funny
before.
relationship with Jesus because I was raised without learning anything about religion at all. And it just like never came up. And it wasn't a bad thing or a good thing in my family. My
Yeah.
parents just wanted my sister and I to just figure out our spirituality ourselves. So I truly don't know very much about Jesus at all, but I really like Jesus. And I don't
Yeah.
even know who he is really. I mean, I know the basics, but I've
Yeah.
never studied the Bible. I don't go to church. I don't have a background in that. But honestly, I think that anything I've ever heard about Jesus sounds great to me. And I enjoy calling him in my prayers.
Hmm.
And I love his energy.
Oh, I love that. What does faith mean to you?
It means trust. Faith to me means trust in yourself, which I actually think means trust in the universe or in God. But to me, it just means following what you know is the place to go, the thing to do, regardless of anything stopping you in your way.
Cool. And we've talked about this a little bit, but anything else on how you hear from God or universe and what you're hearing right now in your life?
Personally, I hear from God when I get very, very quiet and I listen and then also I ask. I need to ask him to come in and speak to me and bring me a message, bring me comfort, connect, and then I need to actually be quiet. And I don't really sit and meditate, but if I can move about my day without listening to a lot of stuff, if I can take a shower or go for a walk without listening to music or a podcast and just wait for the connection to drop in, I feel it. And it's very clear to me when God or universe is speaking to me. And it's never really been a voice. Some people hear a voice, I don't hear that. I have a knowing and a confidence and a clarity in something that I previously had confusion towards.
I'm just like taking a minute. Like, this is like, I love hearing from how people hear from God. And that is just, I just love hearing that. And it's such a reminder for me too. I feel like I'm being encouraged right now to remember to simply ask for help and ask for God's, to be reminded of God in my life. So thank you for that reminder. And lastly, I love ending with just like a simple invitation or a mindset shift or a small healing practice that we can incorporate into the week ahead.
I have a lot of practices that I love offering and doing that involve a lot of different things like music and guidance and something that we're not going to be able to do now, but I can offer everybody a perspective shift. And it's one that you already brought up and I already brought up again. What's in alignment for me is in alignment for everybody. And
Oh,
so I want everybody to actually just say that out loud with me right now.
yes.
You're going to open up your mouth and you're going to say it. What's in
What's in
alignment
alignment for
for
me
me is in
is in alignment
alignment for
for
everybody.
everybody.
And then I also want you to just take that with you. And I would love to offer everybody an actual free mini breathwork experience, like a 10-minute little breathwork releasing process that I've created for you. Is that okay for me to share on here?
I would love that. It's life changing for me. I
Yeah.
love it, love it, love it.
So we're not going to do it now, but you can
Yep.
all do it on your own and you can get access to this 10-minute breathwork session that I'll guide you through at studiotimeout.com/free mini breathwork.
And I'll put it in the show notes too.
And that's going to be for everybody who's stressed out, who's anxious, your thoughts are running, you're feeling out of touch with your body, you're feeling out of touch with God or whoever. The breath work can really help you to drop in like now, in the moment, very
Yes,
quickly.
amazing. Or for me to work out some pent up emotions. It's been
Yes.
so helpful. I think the world of you. I really just respect you and admire your work. And I'm so grateful you're doing this thing in this world. I'm just so appreciative of you. So
Thank
thank
you.
you. Thank you
Can
for your
I
wisdom and
share
time.
a really, really quick story?
Please.
I hope that this was you, and I think it was, but I have a very, very vivid memory of who I pretty sure was you from a long time ago. So you
I
used to
bet it
come
was.
to the
Yeah.
studio like I don't even know, like 10 years ago, right?
Uh huh. Yep.
I was a very different person then, and I felt really unseen, and I felt like I didn't even know who I was, and I didn't see myself, and I was quite unhappy, and I didn't like a lot of people then because I just was really unhappy, and I have a very, very strong memory of being at the front desk talking to you, and I was doing something administrative, like, I don't know, selling you a class package or ringing you up, nothing meaningful at all.
Yeah.
And I just remember you, like, looking into my soul, and I felt really, like, touched and seen, and I was like, "This is super weird. Why is she, like, so intense, but also this is so wonderful." And I feel, like, really good, and then you said something very, very profound, like, "Madeline, I just think you are so great." I don't know, you said something like what you just said there, but it was very sincere, and it also didn't really make much sense to me because all I was doing was, like, selling you, I don't know, like, a supplement or something. I don't even know. You were buying something, and I just felt like, "Wow, she actually sees me, and I don't think anyone else does." Like, literally nobody has ever seen me like that, ever, and it's stuck with me for a really, really long like, it's still with me now, and I don't know how you do that or what you did, but it was pretty incredible.
That's such a gift to hear. Thank you. And that was at a time when one of my kids was moving through epilepsy, and I'm pretty sure I was buying supplements. It might have been classes too, just for my own enjoyment, but to help support my child in their health and recovery.
Wow.
And so I felt very supported by you and your wisdom.
Wow.
And
That's
yeah,
amazing.
yeah,
So things just like circle around and we all
yeah,
stay connected. Isn't that so interesting?
it really is. Life is good.
Yes.
And you're so cool. Well, thank
Mm,
you for this time. And I know that it's just going to be a gift and a treat for listeners. So
amazing.
thank you,
Well,
thank you, thank you.
thank you for having me.